Okay guys, so here's a quick video on how to install the CHASE Bays power steering system for your E46 or E36 with a M54 or S54. What you're going to want to do first is remove your original power steering system. I took off my intake manifold, so some things are going to be easier to see. ChrisFix has a great video on how to change out your power steering system. I actually had to change out my pump and my entire power steering system because someone put an E36 power steering system on my E46 and it was leaking really bad. So I went ahead and used a CHASE Bays system. How this works is it uses the old mounting point for your stock reservoir and uses a adapter that they send in. I will throw a link to ChrisFix's video in the description so you can figure out how to undo it. So how it works is that big line will come down and slide over this little nozzle on the power steering pump, and then your smaller high pressure line is going to go down into the first port on the power steering rack, and then the second port on the power steering rack is going to be your transfer hose, high pressure hose, from the power steering rack to the power steering pump. And this is going to how this works is your power steering fluid is going to come down from the reservoir into the pump. The pump is then going to pressurize that power steering fluid, and then that's going to go to your rack. You're going to do your steering, your little drifty boy, your little maneuvers or whatever, and then this other high pressure line is going to send it back to the reservoir and repeat the whole system out again. One other thing to note is that when you do this, your stock lines run up in front of your radiator. I have just cut mine because you need a special tool to remove them, and I do not have that tool. So I cut them. It's a drift car. It really doesn't matter as long as it works. So what you can do instead is you can opt for their power steering cooler, which on the E46 it mounts in front of the subframe or wherever you want to put it, to be honest. But the best place to put it would be in front of the subframe. And how that works is you just run in between your lines. It's pretty simple, it works, but I'm not running it on this car. I'm sure I will eventually, just don't really need it right now. Once you do that, you're gonna wanna bleed the system, which is just turning the car on and turn the steering wheel from the left to the right, and make sure you fill it up. I'm not too sure how much it takes. You just kind of fill it up, I guess. And I think I use 5.5 quarts of power steering fluid. I don't know, I just used, I forgot what brand it was. It's over there somewhere. And then the only complaint that I have about this is you cannot really use your stock airbox because these lines right here are pretty massive and they get in the way of where your stock airbox would like mount up at, like down here. And then you can see where I've tried to bolt it in. It doesn't really bolt in if you use your stock airbox. It just kind of has to settle there because the lines are in the way. It leaked a little bit when I first put it in, but that was because my lower high pressure line from the rack to the pump, or the pump to the rack, wasn't tightened down all the way. But it works good. I threw a little CHASE Bays cover on it just because it looks good. There you go. Have a good one.